If you are listening for the first time, this is Sunrise Meditations, and this show really just plays old school and new school gospel and inspirational music, and of course, this creative part. And so, say good morning, sister.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody waking up to a great day.
And so, yeah, thank you so much, sister, for coming. I know it's early. She's like 5 a.m. What? And so I'm really, really happy that she decided to just come on in. But before I go ahead and, have you really just share your creativity, I want to express from Buzz Patterson. He says, his sympathy for the Bradford family. They had a loss, and so we want to let you know that we are praying for you. And so for all of you who maybe don't know, on Monday at 2 p.m. there will be a funeral at the St. Augustine Church, and so I think that's on R Street here in DC. So if you have the opportunity, please go support the family, and that is the Brad Ford family, and that is from Buzz Patterson. So thank you, Buzz, for calling in this morning, and the several other people who called in this early in the morning. Thank you as well. And so hopefully you guys are giving, supporting this show, supporting WPFW, and continue to support us, all right? So, sister, come on. I'm just really, really excited about having her. This is one of my military sisters. The two of us, we met several years ago,
Yes.
2015, and through a sorority called Key, and that is Kappa Epsilon Psi. And it's been an interesting journey we'll just say that. And so it's really, really cool because it is, it was one of the few African American sororities at that time. Well, I think they've added a whole bunch more now, right? There are like a lot more now, but at that time, I think that was one of the first, right?
One of the first,
one of the
first two that was
So between the first two, that
Yes.
were set up, and so it brings women from all of the branches, and so it's really, really nice, right?
Correct.
To have your Army women, you got your Air Force women, you got your Navy women, you got some Coast Guard, right? And we have some Marines. I think maybe we have a few too, but to say the least, now the two of us, she's still my sister.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
Still my sister. And so today I get to celebrate, really to celebrate and to honor her and to allow her to share her gift. So come on, introduce yourself, tell them who you are, where you're from, and about this project that you have.
Okay. Well, first, thank you so very much for inviting me here. And yes, I was like 5 o'clock. I know we were both in the military, but I said, did you really mean 5 a.m.? Because I've been like on a long vacation, it seemed like, away from getting up that early. But hey, I'm here because anything for my sister. So about myself, as she introduced myself, my name is Felicia Brown. I am a best-selling author on Amazon. And I want to tell you a little bit about this book. So the book is called Born Overcomers, A Guide to Overcoming. And the project came about from another best-selling author named Lakeisha Williams. So it was her book, and she had 4 other women, which one being myself, was to collaborate with her on this book. And she had a vision to say that how did you overcome any type of thing that may have happened in your life? And so it's the first time I ever told my story. And I said, I think that it's time for me to tell my story because obviously there was a sign and things told me. So this was something that took place years and years ago, that I was abused and I went through domestic abuse. And I felt like it was just time for me to tell my story and how I overcame that. So the book really is a guide to overcoming all of us had some type of tragedy. We had a person that actually was raped. We have a domestic violence survivor, which is myself. We had somebody that overcome lust, different tragedy events that took place in their life. So what I really want to talk about is the things that took place in my life and how I overcame this something that just really happened, and it could have been avoided, I believe, but you have a walk in life that you have to walk into. And in order for you to walk into that life to have a testimony, there have to be a test, right? So this was my test to give you my testimony.
Amen, amen, amen to that. So if you are listening for the first time, you are listening to WPFW 89.3 FM, and I am your host, Pauline Rosemore, the Creative Activator. And right now, this is Felicia, Brown, and she's here to share her book, and she's talking about overcoming. This project is an Amazon best seller. Okay, so y'all need to just go and buy and support the project. Okay, but she's talking about overcoming abuse, and that's really, really, really powerful, because there are a lot of women who are suffering in silence, and for you to be bold and courageous. Even now, it's February. People are thinking about love, and you need to remember those people who maybe are suffering in silence. And today maybe February 14th maybe not be a good happy day for them, right?
Correct.
And so I think this is a really, really good topic for you to share. Now, tell us. You don't need to go all into the deep into the message of the book. However, what would you say for someone, because it takes, like I said, a lot of courage. You are this creative person, you've had this thing happen. Your process, what was that like?
So the process is like this. So was it the first time I was abused? I would say when I was a teenager, I was abused by my boyfriend that loved me so much, correct? And I won't go into details about any of those things, but what I did is I hid it for such a long time. But one day when I was going to work to go pick up my mom from work, I was driving her vehicle to go to work to pick her up from work. And he was waiting on me, which I had no idea. And I kept the same routine. And the window was down. And I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. So I was going downtown to go pick my mom up. And he came out of the blue of nowhere and just bust me in my face in the car that had the windows down. And when I got to my mom's place, the security guard came down and saw me bloody and called the police then. So what I want to say is, so that was the first time I've ever been abused by a male, period. And what I found was, one, thinking and looking back on everything, my mom was in an abusive relationship with my father. And usually you get to that point of a person being abused because either they've been there before, they've seen it somewhere, they lived it. So I would say for myself, I know my father abused my mom. And living there, sometimes you think that's what's supposed to happen, but I know that is not what's supposed to happen. And I know I'm much better than that. And I know I'm a stronger person than that. So that was the first time. And how I decided to get away from them, that's why I joined the military, to get away. So I did my time while I was in the military. And towards, I would say within my first 4 years, which it was, I was stationed in Connecticut. And I was in another abusive relationship. But this time I fought back. And fighting back landed me in jail. So although I landed in jail, I will never forget my 21st birthday. That's when it occurred. Again, I won't go into a lot of details about what happened. You can get the book and learn a little bit more about it. But what I did was my 21st birthday, it was October the 18th. And again, I changed my birthday, right? I changed my birthday because of that. And I was like, you can't officially change your birthday, right? But I didn't want another memory of what took place on my birthday, October the 18th. So I changed my birthday to October 26th. Not officially, but that's when I was celebrating my birthday for many, many years, October the 26th, because I did not want to go back and relive what took place on October the 18th. Well, I know people are curious, like, well, was she charged? I was facing 5 to 10 years, attempted manslaughter. Um, Obviously, I did not go to jail. I had a gang of lawyers that my uncles now paid for, and and the state when the state looked at all the evidence, they dropped the charges against me, and they picked the charges up on him as well. So, which was great. And I appreciate it because I wouldn't be here today. I don't know where I would be. I wouldn't know if I'd be here sitting here telling you my different testimonies that I have. Um, so, what I will say is, even with that relationship, um, when I was in that relationship, it started with controlling, and people don't even understand that you're being controlled because it happens so subtly. Um, just basically driving down a car, and you sit in the car and you look over one way and you're looking out the window, and it just happen to be some guys in the car next to you. You get popped in the face for flirting with some guys, and you just actually looking out the window, not even paying attention to know who was there. So it's just little things that take place. Far as calling on the phone and saying, "Why haven't you picked up the phone when I called you?" It can be within seconds, and you like, okay, I may be doing something. I may be in the kitchen. I may be going to the restroom to relieve myself. But if you're not picking up the phone, then that's a problem because you're asking me, what am I doing? Where am I at? That's just little stages of called controlling. And from controlling, people usually lead to abuse. So that was another section. So my last and final draw was, and mind you, I have to tell you, I was raised Catholic and I was going to mass all the time. And then I changed over to going to a Baptist church. I left there and did non-denomination. And when I did non-denominations, when I really started learning and finding myself, just during the time I was in the military, learning and finding myself and learning a little bit more about God and learning how to actually develop a relationship with God. When I got married, God told me not to marry this man. But because me in the flesh and me being who I am, didn't want to take the time and sit and listen. So I didn't listen. I got married. God told me 3 times. He told me the day that I was actually getting married, when I was sitting down, putting on my garter belt, do not get married. And because I said, yes, I will, I don't like to go back on my word, I went forth and I did it. Well, during that time, that was the last and final time that I ever been abused in my life. He was mentally, physically, and verbally abusive. The short time frame of 3 years, it was horrible. Trying to hold my composure because it feel like it's just still so fresh.
Take your time.
I will.
So that's the thing about, when you're talking about your story and the wounds, that we maybe experience. And, people think that, oh, there's a time limit on when you should overcome, when the pain should stop hurting.
Right.
And no, it does not work that way. The body and the mind, it happened to you. It was a real live experience. And so you grieve, okay? And it's normal. The problem is we try to hold our trauma, right? We don't want to, because someone a long time said to us that, why are you crying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, moms, moms, they mean well, right? But why are you crying? Well, why do you think I'm crying? Because I'm in pain.
Right.
I'm hurting right now. And so when you're told not to cry, so often when pain hits you, it's like, you just lock up. You don't say anything, and then you hold that thing for many, many, many years, until one day it's like, pow. everything release,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it can't stay inside of you, because when it stays inside of you, it begins to just fester. This festering that's happening inside of you, right? And then when it finally just breaks through, it's like, oh my gosh, there's a hurricane, there's there's a tornado, there are different things that are happening, but emotionally we don't know how to handle all of those emotions because we have locked them up, right? We've
Correct.
kept them. And so I honor you to let it go.
You gotta release. You do. You do. So, and I appreciate that because that's exactly what happens. When you think that you're over something, um, you can bring something up and it's right back being fresh. It's like it just occurred, and that's how it feels like something that just occurred. And as I was stating earlier, mentally, physically, and verbally abusive. It was a horrible relationship, and so when I said it's time for me to tell my story, it's because of this. I knew that it was time for me to let go, as you was talking about releasing. What I had to do is I had to forgive them and forgive myself. And once I forgave them and forgave myself, I was able to move forward. But I didn't just move forward on that. How I learned that was from reading the Bible. And inside the book that we all written, you will see the different scriptures that I went through and what helped me on. And a lot of gospel music, if you listen to the lyrics of them, it'll help you get through a lot of different things. I know a lot of times when I go to church, it's like I don't know who else have this, but sometimes when you're sitting in church and your overseer is talking to you about things in the Bible and they're saying the things, it's like it's directed directly towards you, and you sit there and you're mesmerized like, oh my goodness, this is about me. And it may not be about you, but it's at the time that's what God needs you to hear. And at that time, I needed to hear some things. And since then, I have a church family that surrounds me. My church sister surrounds me. And I know I can talk to them at any time. And I have other sisters like Pauline. And I have a lot of different sisters out here that I know I can rely on and talk to if I need to talk to someone. But what I would say is to overcome anything, writing things down. Go to the Bible. The Bible have all the answers. And I know you heard this before. The basic instruction before leaving Earth is there, and it's there for a reason. That book right there was written way before any of us was walking this earth. Way before any of us was thought to be born. Before the thought became in our parents' mind, before our parents were born, their parents' parents, and their parents' parents, and before this book was already written. It was already written to show us what we need to do. I know we have a hard time of following a lot of different things, and by no way am I saying I'm holier than thou, because I am not. Because I have faults. I still have faults. I still battle demons that I have to work with and see and do each and every day. But I know I do have the right to go back and repent on all my sins that I did and ask God for forgiveness and keep moving forward. So all I want to do is continue moving forward, and I would like to help anybody else that's out there that may be struggling and not really understand that they're in a domestic abuse relationship and not understanding what they can do to go get help. Because there's a lot of different assistance out there for a lot of different people. A lot of times people don't really understand that they're being abused because they feel like that's what's supposed to happen. This is what I'm going to tolerate. But you have to know your self-worth. So I guess I talk too much.
No, I mean, this is really, really important because this is the part of the creative, the private life. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
It's the private life that sometimes when we are out here just doing our art thing, we're doing our art thing, and we have these inside things that may be blockers to our art because we're holding them in. We're trying to figure out, well, why can't I just move forward? Why can't? Because we haven't fully surrendered those things.
Correct.
And so I'm truly, truly grateful that you've come today. Tell us, like, I know you said you can buy your book on Amazon, but where can we find you? How do we get in touch with you? If anyone wants to talk with her, right now you can call, and she'll be here for a few more minutes. It's 202-588-0893. And you are listening to The Creative Activator here on WPFW 89.3 FM. And this is your Sunrise Meditations. So tell us, how do we get in touch with you?
Okay, I know you can find the book that's on Amazon, but I would like to direct you to this if you can. I'm going to read it slowly. It's bit.ly/my story uncut. And that is a way that you can actually purchase the book from me. Also, I have a website called simplyyours.lisa.com. You can go there and order a book from there. Also, I have a Facebook site. Is
Hold on a minute. What's the website?
www.
Spell it out.
Simply simplyyours.bylisa.com.
Okay, so that's really by Lisa.com. Okay, continue.
And the same thing, I have that same, that's the same website. The words Simply Yours by Lisa is on Facebook and Instagram as well. You can look SYBY Lisa.
Ah, beautiful. See how that is? So if you want to get in touch with her, find her, Felicia, and that's BROWN, okay? And that's Simply Yours by Lisa. And so thank you guys for listening, and hopefully, you all were inspired. I am inspired and empowered, girl, because it takes courage, and I know it, to come here, be on camera, like, this is real. Like, it's gonna be out here, out here in the world,
Right.
But there are people who are waiting for your story. And so today I'll share after, how you've given me confirmation that I do have another job to do. And we'll discuss later. But for all of you guys, please share your stories, creatives, activate yourself, support, our authors, and just continue to be who God has created you to be. And don't be ashamed. There's no shame, there's no blame, none of that, okay? And so if you want to get in touch with me, find me on everything at Pauline Creates. That's PaulineCreates, okay? And if you want to be on the show, I'm always interested in meeting new creative people. You can email me at Pauline at CreativSolutions.me. And there's no E after creative. So it's CreativSolutions.me. Creative Solutions. All right. God bless you. And what's up next? What song is this? What we got? All right. So that's Brian Courtney Wilson. Great work. Because you are a great work. All right. God bless you guys. Peace out.